New York's #1 news. Channel 7. Witness News.
Coming up on Eyewitness News First at 4, the growing outrage about one American city letting suspects go free in a domestic abuse cases. Well, outrage over a decision not to prosecute domestic violence cases has the city of Topeka reconsidering the move. Victims advocates across the country fearful a precedent was set after Topeka voted to no longer prosecute domestic violence cases in order to save money. The city council voted to rescind the ordinance in Kansas's capital city last night as protesters rallied outside. The law would have meant some people who are arrested for domestic violence crimes could be set free and not prosecuted. Its members say they had to react to severe budget cuts and wanted to shift the prosecution of the crimes to county or state courts. But critics say the repeal puts lives in danger.
Well, joining us now to talk about this is Liz Roberts of Safe Horizon, an organization that helps victims of domestic violence. And I can only imagine that victims advocates, Liz, like yourself, must be hugely relieved by this last-minute 180. But are you worried that essentially the die has been cast and other communities could actually consider a similar move?
Well, certainly. This whole story has been very troubling. We work with thousands of victims of domestic violence here in New York City every year at Safe Horizon. And what we hear from victims is that it's so critical for them to know that if they report domestic violence, that the police, the prosecutors, and the courts will take the crime seriously and will take action, coordinated action to protect them. And so a story like this really raises questions about the level of priority that has been being given to the needs of victims of domestic violence.
Pero gracias a la consejería que encontró en Safe Horizon, la tercera vez decidió no retirar los cargos. Gracias a esta organización, Abram se dio cuenta que las acciones de su pareja eran criminales y no eran parte normal de una relación.
Fue una experiencia increíble hablar con un grupo de mujeres y compartir mi experiencia, hablar con una consejera que no me juzgó y comenzar el proceso de educarme sobre lo que me estaba pasando.
Safe Horizon es una organización líder que asiste a más de miles de familias víctimas de violencia doméstica u otros crímenes violentos. Alrededor de la ciudad, Safe Horizon tiene varios refugios que incluyen 2 de viviendas temporales. También les ayudan a conseguir empleo. Escobar explica que sus refugios y viviendas siempre están a capacidad, pero es un lugar donde logran curar sus heridas y reconstruir sus vidas.
This is Nightline, November 11, 2011.
Good evening, I'm Terry Moran, and we begin tonight with the scandal engulfing Penn State University. The accusations of repeated sexual assaults on children by a coach there have shocked the country.
It's different from a typical abuse story, maybe in how prominent the abuser is. Nevertheless, the outlines of the case are all too typical.
Ariel Zwang runs a sexual abuse crisis center and says 1 in 6 boys are sexually abused before the age of 18. 90% of them by someone they know, a relative, a teacher, a coach.
A coach can be a very trusted and revered authority figure in a child's life. Athletic attainment can be what causes a child to blossom, can get them access to a college education. So the coach can be in a position of enormous power with a child.
It begins with the abuser grooming his potential victim.
With a boy, we're talking about sports, it may be special attention in the coaching process, maybe special opportunities to see the coach outside of the confines of the normal coaching relationship. It might even be special favors in terms of how much playing time someone might get.
And many of them don't speak up about it.
The most common emotion that a child may feel when thinking about disclosing abuse is shame. They often feel that it's their fault, that somehow they're responsible, and often the abuser will capitalize on this and help the child to feel that it is their fault, that they are responsible.
And most importantly, kids and adults alike should always report abuse, a sentiment the president echoed tonight.
We all have a responsibility. We can't leave it to a system. We can't leave it to somebody else. Each of us have to take upon ourselves to make sure that our kids have the love and support and protection that they deserve.
For Nightline, I'm Lindsay Davis in State College, Pennsylvania.